Alright everybody, how's everybody doing? This is All That Smoke and you're watching Gaming with All That Smoke. Just wanted to type into this game Diablo 4 and I've been playing it for a while now and just looking into the character build that I've created for my Barbarian. Wanted to break it down, show everybody what my character is kind of built like and what he's built for and how he actually operates, and see if this may be anything I can change on him. If anybody has any comments on it, let me know. If this does help you out a little bit on your build, that's awesome. I really hope it does. And let's just get into this. I'll try to break this down into a couple of sections. For starters, let's take a look at my skill set. So this is basically how my skill set is set up. So I'm using Flay as my basic attack, set to leave them vulnerable and do a decent amount of bleeding damage, which is going to play into this character a lot because I'm trying to get them to bleed. Next up, moving into our brawling skills, and this is what I call this guy the Belligerent boots. So I have my ground stomp, my kick, and my leap, and these will all be tied in with each other. Rupture is at a very high rank because I found a sword that actually works pretty well for it, so I'm going to keep that on. And this build is also going to be a lot about the mastery skills. Also, with the bleeding, getting them to bleed with Flay, this kind of helps out a lot because I can get them to bleed, use this, and do a great deal of damage. All that bleeding's gone. It's just taking one shot instead of sitting there waiting for it to work. And then of course my other weapon mastery I have is Death Blow. Hits pretty hard, and the weapons I have set up for this, I have a dual wield for my basic skill. For my leap, I will be using my mace, two-handed bludgeoning weapon. I will be using a two-handed slashing weapon for my rupture, and for Death Blow I'll be using my two-handed bludgeoning weapon. So next, let's get into my passives. So as I said, I like to get them bleeding a lot. It's really going to help out when I have thorns because I'm definitely going to get hit. I'm going to be in the fight with this character. He's going to be toe-to-toe with these enemies, and getting them to hit him and causing them to bleed is definitely going to help out because, like I said, this is build is built on getting them to bleed. Some more bleeding damage over here. It will affect them, slow them down, and do a little bit more to them when they're vulnerable. That'll come in a lot with the kick and Flay. And increase my speed on one-handed weapons because I'm going to be using my basic to build up my fortify. If you didn't notice, I don't have any core skills. I'm not using core skills. I'm going to allow my fury to build up to its maximum because I have something on a piece of armor that will allow me, once I have full fury, every fury I generate past that point will be added on as fortify. So this character will be fortified most of the time because I'm not going to be using that fury, and it'll do a great deal for keeping that damage reduction up, and it will help for overpower. I'll move over to, for my weapons mastery, I'm going to be using a two-handed mace expertise. Do some damage against vulnerable while berserking. It's definitely going to help out. Going into my paragons, I haven't done much with this, just been kind of going with the flow. However, since I am using weapon masteries as like a main thing for this guy, I did slap this on, and feel free to pause at any moment and read what's going on with this. I don't feel like I have to sit there and read this to you, but this is definitely going to keep those attacks going, keeping that cooldown time down. Now, if you notice, I have 2 kicks, 2 death blows, and 2 ruptures. With the cooldown time, that's definitely, keeping that cooldown time going is definitely going to help out keeping these attacks going. And let's get a look at what I have as far as what my guy is wearing. His armor and weapons. So we'll start with the helmet. For each point of fury generated, while at maximum, fury grants 7 fortify. So it's gonna keep me going as far as fortifies helping out. You can pause, take a look at what else I have there. It's also 2 ranks on death blow, which is definitely gonna help out because I'm gonna be using that. On this one, I have an earthquake that's gonna go with my elite. Now, the earthquake's definitely gonna be a big help with the bleeding and everything, causing that DOT, the damage over time, definitely helps out. With my kick, if I get one of them to, anybody that's damaged, they'll explode, dealing damage to other people. Very big help, especially with the kicks and leaps. Some basic skill damage reduction, damage reduction while using basic skills. A little defensive and keep my thorns up. This helps out a lot with the weapons mastery, having an extra charge for it and being able to stun them. Definitely a big thing. So once again, with having my fury all the way up, that's my my primary resource. So as long as I have my resources filled, which I'm not going to be spending them, they do deplete over time, if with using a barbarian. If you ain't fighting, you start losing it, but it'll stay up there for a while, and I'll be doing an extra 20% damage while having that full. I have 2 different stones in here. I missed on my chest piece, but on this one I have overpower damage for 21%. And I haven't really looked into getting this down where I'm gonna be doing overpower damage when I want to, but when I do it, it's gonna when I do it, it's gonna be 21% extra damage. Critical strikes against crowd control enemies. I'm going to be leaving people stunned and slowed a lot, so that's an extra 10.5% damage every time I critical on these guys, so that's definitely going to be a bonus for that. On my pants, I have a 3.5 increase on maximum life, which definitely could use that, and the thorns. The thorns helps out because, like I said, I keep them bleeding if they hit me, so having a lot of thorns and getting that bleeding damage, and once I hit them with the rupture, it's definitely gonna hurt a lot for them. Then I got some more maximum life. Got to stay alive in order to keep fighting, and damage reduction while fortified. Damage reduction while fortified, once again, having full fury, I will be getting fortified, which will keep me fortified for most of the time. So I will pretty much have that going for me. On my one-handed weapons, I have this mace and one-handed sword. Increase attack speed, basic attack speed. Got to keep that up because I want to be doing a lot of damage in between my main strikes. Again, while I'm berserking, having those thorns, I will be berserking a lot as well. If I use any of my brawl skills, I'll berserk, and if I use my death blow, I'll start berserking. Each one of them is for about 3 seconds. You do the math on that. If I keep using my attacks, we'll keep that going for a while. Now this I've picked up, and it has been very useful. It's a little lower on the levels, but it's definitely putting its work in. Having that +6 rupture definitely allows me to do more damage. I have a big, more than 10% on the cooldown, doing extra damage with the two-handed slashing weapon, so that's all going towards that rupture attack. And like it says, if you read it, pulls the bleeding damage off of them, gives it it's like a one-shot deal. Instead of waiting on it, you get it one shot. So if you can get somebody bleeding for all their, most of their life, use rupture, there you go, you've pretty much brought them down all the way. Now on my jewelry, I have my ground stomp will create an earthquake as well. So there's going to be a lot of earthquakes and puddles of blood using this thing. This thing, beautiful sword that I picked up. And while I'm berserking, doing direct damage is definitely going to help, because I'm going to make them bleed more for 5 seconds. Like I said, keeping them bleeding is definitely going to help out. This is going to increase my using ground stomp. I mean using my leaps, because if I use a kick, which I have 2 of, and 1 ground stomp, every time I use one of those I can leap, which will create that earthquake. By time in between, waiting for the cooldowns to be done. And also, it's very good for crowd control, being able to kick enemies into a corner, stomp, have that constant damage on them. So this is pretty much what I've got together for this guy. I will put up a video of some of my gameplay if you guys continue to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Also have a gem in there for a little bit more armor. The gem in my sword, 7% damage over time. That's gonna, do a little bit more damage with the bleeding. Same thing for this sword, get more bleeding damage. Got my, more damage for basic skill. So basically, this is the rundown of how I'm going to be using this character, and what I got going on with this build. Said keeping them bleeding, it's definitely going to help out in damage to elites. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for subscribing. If you have subscribed, if you haven't, I would like you to. I'm not the greatest person on YouTube for this stuff, but check it out. Might have some stuff that'll help you out, and if you have anything that can help me out, I'll be very grateful. Thanks for your time. Have a good one.